Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly live immigration attorney chat here at Immigration for Couples. I'm attorney Megan Pastrana. If you are returning, if you've been with us before, welcome. It's great to have you back. If you are new to our firm, Immigration for Couples, our entire team, we're dedicated exclusively to helping couples across the nation and across the world in navigating the U.S. immigration process. And I see we have a lot of people joining us live, so that's great. I am streaming this event live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram all at the same time. So wherever you're watching, welcome. I always like to start the show by asking all of you who are joining today, and even if you're watching this on the replay, you can do a hashtag replay and let me know where are you at in the world. See, our regulars, those who join us on a regular basis, already know the drill, and I see everybody's throwing in the chat where they're from. So where are you at in the world right now? All right. Ginger, awesome to have you again. UK representing Ohio, and Kathy in Ireland. Awesome. Italy. Oh, yay, Italy. I really want to go back. Italy and NYC. Good morning, Mohammed. Great to have you back with us. And I see we even have some individuals who are giving us some good news. Chicago, keep them coming, everyone. And again, if you're watching this on the replay, please let us know where are you at. And if you have questions, please go ahead and throw them in the comments. I'll be spending the next 27 minutes or so with all of you here answering your questions, any immigration questions that you have. But I do want to let all of you know about the resources that we have here at Immigration for Couples. So having gone through an immigration process myself with my husband, this work is my work in the world 100%, focusing on helping be a guide to couples who are going through the immigration process. And a lot of members of our team have gone through a process as well. And so we have created, with lots of love and care and consideration for all of you, a free resource center. And so I will share that here with all of you, the website. And I know we have Julie with us live, our firm administrator, and she will be posting video links and links to the resource center as well. But the free resource center is at immigrationforcouples.com. We have free downloadable charts. I created a relationship evidence guide that explains really what is immigration looking for and proving your love is real. And if you're just starting out, I really encourage you to check out the free webinar I created. That's also in the resource center. And that webinar really dives into the options that are available to couples, the different paths, the eligibility requirements, what path might be the best path for you, how to prove your relationship, and really how to successfully get through that immigration process. So check that out at immigrationforcouples.com. All right. So I will go ahead and I will get started with the first question, or the first announcement rather. So Deanna, congratulations. That's awesome. Congratulations. So you had your interview last month for your K-1 visa and you got approved. We've had so many clients in the past months get approved for the fiance visa. It's very exciting to see the approvals coming through, because that means that couples are going to be able to be together in the same place and get that next chapter started. So congrats. And you'll be going to the US on August 27th or 22nd. Awesome. You're wanting to know if your fiance can be in the customs line with you. You can definitely try. I used to go through with my husband when we were, going through the process. It'll really depend. You might get sassed at and told you have to go to the US citizen line, but you can definitely try. You can ask before you jump in the line. But I know it makes you feel better to be together. But you have your fiance visa, so you're going to be coming in and it should be a little bit smoother of an entry than coming on tourist or ESTA, right? So you are very welcome, Deanna. I'm really glad that you've been able to be a part of this community. I've said it in prior lives that going through an immigration process, other couples who haven't gone through an immigration process, it might be hard for friends and family to really understand what you're going through. And so in creating this resource center and hosting these lives, we're really creating a community here with all of you. So you can really look and see how many people are in the room and the questions that we have here. And you can see you're not alone. There's somebody else who's gone through the process that understands. So you're very welcome. And I'm happy to have you in our community. All right. So So you received your documentarily qualified on June 28th of 2024. Congratulations on being documentarily qualified. That's awesome. So for those of you who might just be starting out in your journey and not understanding what DQ'd means, I like to give education to while answering questions. Part of the spouse visa process involves a phase, a step with the National Visa Center. And the National Visa Center is a glorified document collection hub. So they have their role, their responsibility is they have to receive and process all of your documents, make sure the documents are in compliance, and make sure that you have everything that's required on the checklist before you're put in line for an interview. Now, just because the National Visa Center says that you're documentarily qualified, there can definitely be other things you'd have to take to the interview. But the documentarily qualified, when you get that notification, that's basically the National Visa Center saying it appears that you have all of the required documents from the checklist. You can now be put in line for an interview. So everybody is looking for and excited when they receive this documentarily qualified, because that means you're in line. You're officially in line for your spouse visa interview. So the wait times really vary. This is one of those questions that I have a lot of people asking, how long of a wait for this country or this country? I would estimate, based on what we've seen, wait time somewhere between 6 and 8 months. It can definitely take longer. It can take less time, but on average, most consular posts, that's about what it takes. There are some, though, that do have wait times in excess of a year. The one that comes to top of mind is Mexico, for couples who are going through the process and have to consular process through the U.S. consulate there. The wait times are well over a year. Nigeria has a very long wait. So it really just depends on that country. But I'd say, be prepared for about 6 to 8 months, but do understand there's a lot of factors, and it could be more like 12 months, or it could take less time. I wish I could, I wish I had a crystal ball and could say exactly what date. But the good thing is looking at it as you are in line now. So good luck, and hope you have your interview soon. All right. Let's see, who do we have next here? So, yeah, good morning. You waived having immunizations at the medical, and we'll get them after the interview. How do we include the result in our green card adjustment of status? The I-693 seems to be used if we got vaccinated. The ICE seems to be used if we got vaccinated at the medical appointment. So you should have received a vaccination worksheet at the medical exam that was completed abroad for the fiance visa, is what I'm assuming that you're in the green card process. If you did not complete the vaccinations, and you have to complete a subsequent another medical exam and complete those vaccination requirements in the U.S. at a civil surgeon in the U.S. And so you'd need to schedule that appointment. You can look at the USCIS tool for civil surgeons to have that vaccination portion completed. You can let the civil surgeon know that you had that medical exam completed abroad, and you should have a vaccination worksheet to provide those details to the civil surgeon in the U.S. Okay, and they should give you a new sealed medical exam. It really depends on which vaccines and if you waived all of them. So, but yeah, typically that would be your next step, is looking for that civil surgeon in the U.S. All right. Okay. Oh, we have someone from Michoacan. That's awesome. Oh, Deanna, you had just told us earlier that you were approved, so that's awesome. Coldest place in the USA, Phoenix, Arizona. I bet you're melting, huh? All right. So if your partner is in the US on an E2 visa and you later get married, can we transfer him to a spousal visa? So it is possible that if someone enters on different types of business and investment type visas, that later you could also file an application for a green card based on marriage, or do a fiance visa. So yes, it is possible. It's not really a transfer. It's a completely separate standalone process. So it would depend on the facts of your case, when your partner entered, when you were to get married, the validity of that E2, yeah, a lot of factors. So you can see there's a whole list of factors. And depending on the circumstance and the situation, it might be possible to go through a spouse visa process or possibly adjustment of status, more likely a spouse visa. But yes, the short answer is yes, it is possible later to go through a family-based process, because again, you're not transferring it. You'd have some kind of employment or investment type visa that he would have first. And then later you could look at a family-based option. But yeah, you're not transferring. It would just be two separate processes. And we've helped many couples who have gone through an employment or a different type of case to be able to go through the family-based process for a green card. So absolutely. Oh, congratulations, Mark. That's great. Congratulations on that approval. All right. So Ricardo, you're going through the K1 visa. You're in San Diego and your fiance is in Spain. In Spain. Awesome. All right. So good morning, Fer. You're watching from Tucson, so another Arizona person here in the house. You just got the K1 letter yesterday. I'm not sure what the next step. So I'm not sure what your abbreviation is. I'm not sure if you mean that you got the I-129F receipt notice or the petition approved. I will give you the link here, and I know Julie's already put it into our resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. So you can check out my videos in my series on the fiancé visa process. Okay. So, but to answer your question in general, kind of give you that 30,000 foot overview. You start with a petition where you prove your relationship is real. Once that petition is approved, that's not the visa, that's the petition approval. Then it goes on to the National Visa Center. The National Visa Center transfers the case to the consular post. The consular post is where you'll have to complete an online application, background checks from any country you've lived for more than 6 months, medical exam, an interview. And then at that interview is when you receive the visa. And then after you receive the visa, then you enter the United States and have 90 days to get married and then file for your green card application. So that's a very, very 30,000 foot view. There's a lot of more complexities and more nuanced information in there. But in general, that's the trajectory of a fiancé visa case. But congratulations on getting that process started. That's awesome. Yeah, this is a really good question. So with the new Biden program that was announced, they said that it should start at the end of the summer, but is there a specific date? So there's not a specific date. We're waiting for the Federal Register and USCIS to publish the application details. For those of you who might not have heard of this new program, we've been waiting on this for years. We've been waiting on this announcement for years, and it's an opportunity for those who are currently in the United States, married to a U.S. citizen, and currently in the United States without documents. This program will give a more clear path to receiving a green card. So there's already a process that allows individuals who are here undocumented that are married to a U.S. citizen to receive a green card. They have to go through a provisional waiver process, and that process has ballooned to be a process that takes well over 6 years to get through. So it's a very long time for a couple to be going through an immigration process. This new program is really going to streamline that process, decrease the wait time, and allow for couples to go through the process in a faster amount of time. And it's available to individuals who are married to a U.S. citizen. You had to have been married on June 17th of 2024, and you have to prove that you've been physically present in the United States for the past 10 years. So unfortunately, there isn't a specific date. It should happen. They say it should happen. The announcement should happen at the end of this summer. Perhaps I'm an optimistic person. I'd love to see that coming out here at the end of July. It could bleed into August. There is not a set date, but you can start collecting evidence. We've already started working with many couples with getting there are some other steps, the petition that we can get filed. So if you're wanting to get the ball rolling, our firm can definitely help with that process even before the program is announced, and helping you to collect evidence and get the application as ready as possible. So I'll throw our contact information in here again for consultation scheduling. I'm happy to talk with you in private, but hopefully there's a date announced soon. But great question. Thank you for asking. I'm sure a lot of others are wondering the same thing. All right, we have a lot of really great questions here today. So once we get our petition approved, should my partner get her vaccines before the medical exam to save money, or is that frowned upon? I really encourage all of our, that's what I do for all of our clients, is I encourage you to just get the vaccines at your doctor appointment with the USCIS civil surgeon. I know that some individuals are wanting to try to save money, and I totally get that. But really, your best bet and what most civil surgeons recommend is please just complete all your vaccinations here in person. You can always call the medical clinic where the medical exam is performed. Some medical clinics don't answer the phone, though. You have to schedule online. It just depends on what country in which you're living. But typically the recommendation is that you get them done at the medical exam, with the exception of COVID. So if you haven't had your COVID series or your boosters, they often will recommend you get that before. But yep, so that's the answer. Okay. I will. So, how do you get a spouse visa after we get married in Mexico in early August? So, I would encourage you to check out our free resource center. I'll throw that up there. I will give you a 30,000-foot view here, but that our resource center really dives into a lot more detail about the spouse visa process. So that's immigrationforcouples.com. Okay. And so if you're to get married in August, then from there you have to start with a petition. So the very first step of the spouse visa process, and really any couple-based immigration option, is a petition where you have to prove your relationship is bona fide, the based on love and not to receive an immigration benefit. From there, you're going to be moving on to the National Visa Center. There's background checks involved. There's an affidavit of support, financial support with your tax returns and financial information. And then from there, there is an interview. For our spouse visa cases for individuals from Mexico, the process is taking at least 2 years to get through. Often I encourage clients who are in a relationship with someone from Mexico to really consider, oh, and there's my puppy, Snoopy. He's checking everything out. I really encourage you to think about the fiance visa option too. I'm not saying that you're eligible for that, but the fiance visa option for our couples that are specifically consular processing through Mexico tends to be a faster option. So I'm glad that you're asking questions and getting educated before that marriage occurs. I'd be more than happy to speak with you privately in a consultation about your specific case. If you'd like customized legal advice about what path is the best, if you're wanting to be together as soon as possible, you're welcome. The phone number's below, 317-247-5040. You're welcome to give us a call, and our team can talk with you about options and getting on my calendar. Otherwise, check out the free resource center, and we have tons of information there that should be helpful to you too, to understand even more in depth about the different options. All right, so I hope that helps. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. That's really exciting. Oh, okay. So then we definitely need to talk. And we definitely need to talk in private in a consultation. If they are accusing her of working without authorization and was given documentation, that can really complicate the process. So let's definitely get on a call. If it's not me, I really encourage you. You need to talk with an immigration attorney. Absolutely. I'm happy to help you. I've helped many individuals in this situation, very similar situations. So give the office a call, and I'm happy to talk with you in private. That's tough. That does complicate things for sure. Yeah, on how to fight it, I'd have to, like I said, we'd have to talk in private, and I would need to see any documents that were given. Okay, and we can talk about options. Okay. So your fiance visa stayed in the US on a tourist visa for almost 6 months. Should I include a picture of her tourist visa in our fiance visa packet? So typically including information about prior or current visas is a required component of the fiance visa packet. It's not going to minimize any kind of risk, or it's not going to minimize any suspicion. That's not something that in a fiance visa application that's going to look suspicious. If a person overstayed, then that can cause issues. But each consular post has their own set requirements, and I would say pretty much all of them will require a copy of that visa anyway, and to be taken to the interview as well. But again, it's not to decrease any kind of suspicion. It's just typically a required component. Okay. Okay, so you're married to a U.S. citizen. Can you adjust status with parole under 212D5A received at the border from ICE, but they didn't give me an I-94? So typically, if you're paroled in by ICE, it's not the same kind of parole as an I-94. You would need to speak with an immigration attorney who practices both removal defense and also family-based immigration to understand your options and best next steps. It doesn't necessarily mean that you'd be able to adjust status, and it really depends on the circumstances of the parole. Okay. But our firm, Immigration for Couples, we do not handle removal defense. Removal defense are individuals who are in ICE or have been in immigration custody and going through the immigration court. That adds a extra layer of complexity, but definitely look for an immigration attorney. Again, removal defense and family immigration. Okay. All right. So this question, hi, how are you? Can a prior marriage of a U.S. citizen affect my green card? She filed for my ex many years ago. They divorced many years ago. Yes, immigration has a long list of red flags that they are going to look at when they are reviewing an application. Prior marriages, prior immigration applications for other individuals, those are all part of the red flags that they are looking at. It doesn't necessarily mean the case would be denied. It just means they're going to look more closely. They leave no stone unturned with those types of details in your history. So yes, it's something that they will definitely take into consideration. Okay, so can you process the I-130 with court marriage photo? So the I-130 process requires a lot more than just photos. That if you only were to submit photos, a case like that could not be approved by immigration. You have to meet that burden of proving you have a bona fide relationship. So I would encourage you, check out our free resource center and that relationship evidence guide to better understand the relationship evidence that you'll need. Okay. And beyond, and also I should note, beyond relationship evidence, you're also going to need civil documents. So the legally binding marriage certificate, if there were prior marriages, divorce decrees. So there's a lot of required documents that have to be filed with that petition. All right. Oh, Andrea, it's so great to see you here. That warms my heart. It was such a pleasure to be your guides on your immigration journey. I so hope that you are doing well. And I love that you're here today. I'm sending you both lots of love, and I hope you're having a really fantastic life together. Oh, that made my day. You're very welcome too. All right. So what's the process for NVC for the fiance visa? So the National Visa Center has a very limited role for the fiance visa process. Their role is much more limited to assigning a case number and getting that file transferred to the consular or embassy post. All right. I have so many really great questions, but I do have to jump to some appointments here. I'll do my best to get, I'm going in the order I receive them. So I'll do my best. Okay. Does a letter of support from a parent or sibling have any weight in a fiance visa packet? It does. It can be relationship evidence. Immigration has really an order of what they consider the strongest evidence to the least convincing evidence, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't include it. Letters of support and photos are at the lower end of evidence. So immigration officers like to see them, they consider them, but you can't win a case on them. And letters of support are great. Letters of support can be tricky because you want to make sure that the person who is writing the letter, that all of the details they provide are accurate and are not going to contradict other details in your file. So whenever we get letters of support for our clients or have our clients get letters of support rather for their applications, we go through every single letter and determine whether or not it's a good letter, if it's a viable letter, if it's helpful to the case, or if it's not really going to move the needle or potentially cause complications. We decide which letters to include. So that's a long answer to say, yes, they have weight. They're not the strongest evidence, and you just want to be careful that what is submitted doesn't provide any contradictory information. All right. So I can do like 2 more questions. All right. So what is the process for NVC for fiancé visa, and do the embassies have different wait time for fiancé visa versus spouse visa? So I think this is a continuation of your earlier question. The NVC process, the National Visa Center is assigning a case number and transferring the file. Each U.S. embassy and consulate, even though it's all U.S. immigration, has their own unique policies and procedures. Some of them have different document requirements. Some of them have different ways that you submit documents. Again, different policies and procedures. And yes, the wait times are different. Some countries it's faster for the fiancé visa, and some fiancé and spouse visa are about the same. It really just depends on each consular post, because they do all have their own unique wait time based on the volume of cases that they receive. So, but great question. Yeah, okay, so you have your employment-based authorization application with a pending adjustment. It's been pending for over 6 months with no updates. Is this normal? It can be normal. We've had most of our clients have received their work permits in around 2 to 6 months, give or take. It's kind of been all over the board. It has been much faster. Immigration wait times are fluid. They're always changing, and they're different for everyone, depending on when you filed and what office, and many factors. Is it normal? Yes. Should you check the status on USCIS? Yes, and then you can get some other updates. If you look at processing times, though, those are much higher than 7 months. So hopefully you'll get a decision here soon. All right. And I see I got a thumbs up. So apparently this has all been helpful to all of you. If it has, I'd like to see you're all you're all benefiting from today's information. If you want to give a thumbs up or a heart, I'd appreciate that, and share it with anybody you know who's going through an immigration process. So how can you apply for your wife who lives in another country? So that's called a spouse visa process. And again, like I had mentioned with that 30,000 foot view earlier, I encourage you to check out that resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. And I go through the steps of the spouse visa process. The very first step is a petition that you file with immigration to prove your relationship is real. All right. I do have to jet. I have a very busy day, but I see that I have a lot more questions, a lot of really great questions. I'm going to go through these later today here. And if I didn't get to answer your question, a lot of times the questions that I don't get to become video topics on YouTube channel and our newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, you can do that on our website, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll get updates on when new videos are posted. But I do read them, and it does give me ideas, and I do want to make videos that are helpful and the questions that everybody's asking. So it was great to be with all of you today. Have a great rest of your week. Take care, everyone. Bye.